Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Excellent. So before we get started, let's hear from one of our lovely sponsors. Who's it going to be? Let's hear from Tim. Tim with
Lovely Tim.
Lovely Tim. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Tim McKean, Family First Home Inspections. I've been doing inspections in the Valley for about 17 years. My inspection reports are very user-friendly, very easy to read, easy to understand. And the best part is I email my reports usually within an hour of completing the inspection. I also can order a termite inspection for you, and as an added bonus, I can order a free roof inspection done by a roofing company. My number is 480-577-5501, or you can email me at the address below. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tim. Well, good morning, everyone. You know, there was a recent survey done where they said, what's more important to people? And they were looking at the survey. Was it money? Was it benefits? Job security?
You mean what people value?
Yeah, what people value.
Got it.
And overwhelmingly, people wanted to be liked and respected. Wow, I mean that's pretty powerful when you think about it. And if that sounds like you today, if you go, you know what, I really want to be liked and respected, there are specific habits you could do that will allow you to earn that. And the key word is
Earn.
Earn. So today on MidWeek MindFreak, we're going to be talking about how can you be more liked and respected.
Chuck and Angela run multiple million-dollar companies. They are members of Riz Media's Billionaire Club, have coached and mentored thousands of agents, and are international speakers. They say by radically changing your mindset, not only can you change your outlook on life, but affect the actual results you obtain. Welcome to MidWeek MindFreak.
Yes, the battle starts here, but we're going to win the war. So anyway, you know, it almost falls into play what we were even just talking about this morning about how you view things and how you look at things. And we're going to share with you these things, these subtle changes you could do that will help you be liked more, respected more, because you don't demand it.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, my crappy past that I will say, I used to walk around with the logic that I'd rather be feared than loved. And I wondered why I was so damn miserable. You know, bad way of looking at things. And thank you, Lord, for opening my eyes to changing that. But these are small things. For some of you, they're just going to be simple reminders. For others, you go, you know what, man, I haven't thought about that in a long time. And what you're going to get from this today is when you're liked and respected, everything you do in life will change. Your business will change. Your relationships will change. So this is a really powerful topic.
I think so too.
You good.
Chuck.
I am glad you think so. So let's just dive in to some of these subtle changes that can have huge impacts. The first one is speak up. Speak up. You don't get recognized or respected if you're a little church mouse.
That's true. And it drives me nuts if I can't hear what somebody's saying.
Yes, it's incredible how it's like, well, here's the thing. It's not, I believe that a lot of times it's because people that don't speak up have a low self-esteem.
I think so too.
And you got to get out of that. Stop worrying about what other people think or say. Now, speak up. It doesn't mean to be confrontational all the time or argumentative, but you need to speak your mind. You can't earn respect if you say nothing. And don't be some keyboard warrior when that's the time that you're speaking up, because that takes nothing to go behind your keyboard and do this. So speaking up is really important because really everything else we're going to talk about really has to do with speaking up.
Yeah, and I think that we've talked about that before, that confrontation is not a bad word necessarily. You can do confrontation and it can be relationship building.
Absolutely.
And deepening.
That's right, Casey. love does conquer all. People respond to love.
Mm-hmm.
God is love.
That's right.
And I think that's probably when we're created in his image. But there you go. I just thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're created in his image.
So act like it.
And and that's why people desire that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So one of mine is you've got to have a
Speak up
schedule.
there, honey. Speak up. Spit it out, church mouse.
So you have to have a schedule. And what I mean by that is don't respond immediately to everything that jumps in front of you. Allow people to schedule their interactions with you. And let me tell you why. It's number one, your time is valuable and people need to respect your time. You need to respect your own time or your days get away from you and you accomplish nothing. But if you have a schedule and you allow people to schedule interactions, you can actually be more present with them than just popping on the phone when you're not, when you're not expecting to be on the phone or, hey, do you have a minute? Do you have a minute? Do you have a minute? No, the answer is you don't always have a minute. I'm not saying you don't respond immediately sometimes, but getting on a schedule and allowing people to schedule time with you is actually respectful and will cause you to be more respectful with your time. And
it's actually funny when you were saying that. I think the people that are always jumping on and letting people control their time is because they do nothing. And maybe that's the reason why you might be failing in life is because all you do is let people
dictate your time
and you have no plan in life. The next one that will fall really into line with that, set your calendar appointment default to 15 minutes. Control your time. Very similar to what you're just saying. 15 minutes is really enough time to speak to most people. Unless you're doing a full-on presentation or training, 15 minutes. And if you don't set it to 15 minutes, guess what happens? People can talk, and talk because they think they have that time available. So by you setting your default time encourages people, it's almost setting an expectation. We're going to talk for 15 minutes. Now, obviously, it's your time, and if
and
the
maybe
situation
it's 30 minutes,
calls
but it's
for
something.
But yeah, you're setting a precedent up front, and people respect that.
A lot of people, look on the past year and some with like disdain and with a terrible outlook. There's some really good things that came out of the last year. One of which is Zoom. I'm not going to lie. I'm not zoomed out because people respect your time. They know you have a time frame. You're on the computer and you probably have another appointment coming up next.
I used to watch Zoom when it was a TV show.
I don't know what
you're Does anybody remember Zoom? Put in the chats. Let's see how old you guys are. Anybody remember the show Zoom?
Does it start with an X?
No. Zoom.
I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, the next one is learn people's names. Like if you just meet somebody and you are using their name.
You mean Buddy's not a name?
It's a universal name.
Buddy is a name. That's the name of my dog.
That's why we named Buddy, so he would remember the name. But when you use people's names, there's something more personal. Greg Fowler gets on the phone with him, and every time he gets on the phone with him, he's like, "Hey, Chuck, how are you, Chuck?" And he uses his name all the time. That is actually very effective. And if you use people's names, especially the first time you meet them, you're more likely to remember their name, which is even more impressive when you see them the next time. So get in the habit of using people's name. I love when he says Angela.
But that's your name. If I start calling you Buddy, I'm in trouble. Right?
I know, right?
And really kind of in line with that, use titles. Here's the part. I guess maybe it's a little bit of a pet peeve, and once again shows my age. And it's sad to even say that because the sign of times as like respect starts to go away for titles. And when I say titles, I'm not necessarily talking about doctor or sergeant or president. Now, those titles are important, and I think you should refer to them. But simple stuff like Mr. and Mrs.
You know who does that really well is Nicole Chambray. She calls me Mrs. Fazio sometimes, which is so endearing.
Oh.
And Mr. Fazio, she says that to you.
Yeah, when she's mad at me. But seriously, when my kids' friends come over and they call me by my first name, it just doesn't even feel right. And I don't know. I think the sign of times changes things. But anyway, look, if it feels uncomfortable, don't do it.
Right.
But if you don't know somebody, call Mr., Mrs., Sir, Ma'am. Yes,
There she
Nicole's
is.
laughing. That's Mrs. Chambray.
Thank you, Mrs. Chambray.
But use that. So that by giving that type of respect makes people like you.
Mhm.
Like, remember, guys, we're talking about these little things. If you want to change your life in every aspect, these little things we're going over actually
Could make a
equate
difference.
to big deals.
Mhm.
And we take this seriously. So we hope you do too.
The next one is oh my, this is a pet peeve of mine. You've got to listen enough so that you can actually acknowledge someone when they're speaking. So, for example, agents,
You're really good at this, honey.
agents make this mistake all the time. They'll be like, hey, why are you looking to move? And they'll say something like, well, my wife's having another baby and we need an extra. And they're like, okay, well, how many bedrooms do you need? Like the person, they don't know why, but they don't like you. They don't feel right with you because you should have said, well, congratulations, you're having a baby. Like they said something human, have a response, right? Or another example is you ask me a question. I could say, great question, Chuck. Like I used his name and I acknowledged something that he said. A conversation is supposed to be two ways. And sometimes you need to acknowledge that you're even hearing the other person.
Well, I was going to say that. That's the other thing. How many of us,
wink, wink.
how many of us, what we're doing is
thinking about our next thing.
reforming our answer before we even really hear what the person's saying.
Right.
So I really believe this technique is not only for the other person, but it's for you because it's going to challenge you to stop and listen. Because
Great
by
point,
you
Chuck.
regurgitating back to them is challenging yourself that this needs to be a two-sided conversation, and I want to listen to what that other person has to say. So, what is Christy?
Christy.
Oh, she read
just
our
finished
book.
reading our book, and I love the respect you have for each other in your marriage.
Iron does sharpen
Do you want a
iron. No, want a kiss? This is a PG. Anyway.
Thank you, Christy.
So, which goes now to the next one is be willing to ask questions. You know, asking questions and diving in deeper is not a bad thing. What it's doing is, and I love doing this, and I know some people get frustrated, kind of like you sometimes, because you keep asking questions. I do because I want to dig down until I really understand what that person means or is saying. So if let's just say you heard something and you asked a question and you didn't get the response you want, don't feel bad for trying it in a different way. I don't want you to think, well, I'm going to aggravate that person. No, you're going to aggravate people by misunderstanding what they're saying. So dig deep, ask questions. And how many times we're in meetings or something and nobody asks questions? And you know why? Because they go, maybe it's a dumb question. I don't want to feel foolish, which once again leads to people pleasing. But how many times that you don't speak up and you're in a room and somebody asks a question and you go, I was thinking that too. But you didn't have the nerve to speak up. Guys, learn to speak up. Remember, if somebody gets pissed off about you're asking questions, that's on them, not on you.
Yeah, and he's very good at asking the right questions. I'll get off the phone sometimes and he'll say, he'll ask me a question about the conversation. I'll have to call somebody back because I didn't think to ask the question. You're really good at that.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Jason looks at ours as a lunch and learn. Well, it's morning for
Virginia.
us, but
yeah. That's fine.
yes,
That's awesome.
I hope you're eating some good lunch while you're watching the show.
Right. The next one has to do with being a person of your word. Like if you say you're going to show up at a certain time, or you're going to call, or you're going to take some action, set yourself up for success by maybe setting reminders. So setting reminders, I do this a lot because I'm not going to remember. I even have to set a reminder to call my son at a certain time.
And you even screw that up.
I did once. But if you set reminders, all that is showing that you have respect enough for the commitment, the time, the other person, that you will go out of your way to make sure it gets done.
Yes. Here's one of my other little pet peeves, which is so simple, and I think this society is getting so far out of it. Say thank you and say you're welcome. Oh my God.
And good morning. How about that?
Good morning. Goodbye. Guys, these are so simple, and I think I don't think it's just that people don't want to do it. You don't consciously think of it because society is getting further and further away from it. And
Simple politeness.
we don't even teach our kids.
Mhm.
And don't just say, here's the other thing too. We talked about this a while ago in one of our, it might have been a Monday morning mindset, but when you teach your kids to do this, explain why. Don't just go, say thank you. How many times do we do that? And all of a sudden you just become a robot without having any thought
Sincerity,
process
yeah.
behind it. Because it shows respect to say thank you, say you're welcome. And don't get in the habit, here's what I hear a lot too. Oh, no problem. No, don't say no problem. Say you're welcome. There's a difference.
I say sometimes no problem.
No, which means that it might have been a problem. And that's a negative connotation. Let's get out of that habit.
Okay.
All right, is that no
Angela
problem?
is my name.
I'm surprised you didn't say no problem.
Okay, so the next one is be a giver. Like conscientious, on purpose, on purpose, be a giver. Add value to people's lives. Make that a priority. Ever got that person that when their phone number pops up on your phone, you're like, ugh, because they're totally a taker, and all they ever want,
Chuck pops up. Yeah,
no,
right.
All they ever want is
yeah.
something from you. You know they're calling because they want.
Come
something.
on, who out there knows that?
It's true.
Right?
Takers are the worst.
Yeah,
So,
you're like, oh God.
I know. Not Diane. He was not saying that about you.
No, she's laughing because she probably experienced it.
Probably. Be a giver. People will love to answer your phone calls, help you, come alongside you, be your partner, work with you, be your friend, be a giver.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
It truly is. Here's another one that, especially in the society that we really need to think about is let people save face, give them escape routes. So here's what that means. If you're standing up for yourself, which you should, the speak up type of thing. And look, being a little confrontational isn't always a bad thing. But when you're confrontational with the thought process that you got to win, like it's a win-lose situation, that's not a good thing. I always say I'm very confrontational, but I'm not confrontational to a standpoint where I have to win.
All the time.
Most of the time.
No, that you don't have to win all the time, but you like to win.
Okay, but but I also know, and if anybody notices me, if we're in a setting and the conversation turns a little heated. So one thing is confrontation is not bad,
nope,
as long as it doesn't have an anger behind it. But I'm the type of person that I read situations, and so should you, that you could be confrontational. You could have a bit of a heated discussion, but when it starts to turn angry, you need to let them have an escape route. And what I do is I always back down. I get to a point where I go, I'm not sitting here trying to win this argument. We have to learn to agree to disagree. Your point of view is important to you. My point of view is important to me. I respect that. So that's why, guys, practice not just having the debate with a win-lose and you both leave angry.
Yeah, and that's
the world we live in.
I know, unfortunately. The other way that I interpreted that one was a very simple ways. Like, for example, when I'm teaching a class or something and somebody gets up, don't call them out. Like, give them permission to do whatever they need to do. Like, be human. Don't assume you know what's going on in that person's head, right? But this is probably my favorite one. The last one is, and it has to do with being genuine, truthful, humble, but it's okay to not know. And it's okay to say you don't know, whether it be a question in real estate or anything. It's okay to say, I don't know. I would rather someone say to me humbly, I don't know, but I'm going to try to find out, rather than try to make like they know what they're talking about and they really don't. Or you know what the worst thing is? This is about the truthful thing. And I know this is one of your something's going to turn on. I know this is one of your pet peeves. When you're calling somebody who's dropped the ball And they go, oh my God, I was just about to call you.
Yeah, sure you are.
And those kinds of things. Why? Just say, man,
Look,
I didn't call you. I dropped the ball.
Yeah, and maybe you guys experienced that. I'm glad you brought that up because that is a huge deal.
Yes.
A huge deal when people can't say, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Or I jacked
I'm
up.
sorry, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, you lie and you bullshit, and it's almost like you're almost saying to the other person, you're that stupid.
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
That you're going to believe the shit I'm feeding you right now. And it actually makes things so much worse. I have so much respect for people who drop the ball
and then
and just and have humility in it instead of trying to argue with you. Because look, it's that thing when you lie, you have to remember what you lied about, and you just make yourself look way worse.
Horrible. No respect.
If I lost the business because I screwed up, then that's my fault. I'm not going to try to save it by lying. It's definitely not a route you want to go.
Yes, Diane.
Absolutely.
People appreciate humility and honesty.
Right. So guys, don't look at it. Look, now, if you're always screwing up,
then you're just a screw up.
you need to friggin' figure that out. But don't bullshit people, guys. Don't sit. Oh, I was just about to pick up the phone and whatever. You know, there is one more thing, honey. I want to add to this.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can see where your cursor's going.
This, I'm
sorry, guys.
If you want to earn respect and likability, well, maybe you need to have a cherub-like demeanor. Like I was born with a cherub-like demeanor.
Clearly. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe people tuned out before they had to see that.
Yeah, maybe David Marsh is on there. He always likes to see my baby cherub, baby Chuck cherub. Anyway, guys, we're glad that you watch us. These are 22 minutes you'll never get back from your life, but we appreciate it. Hopefully you guys pick up some good pointers, change your life. Guys, if you ever want some change in your life, your business, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We love helping people and being a blessing. God bless you guys.